Welcome to the Parts and Labor Motorcycle Podcast. It's brought to you by Biltwell Inc. We're going to dive deep into anything motorcycle related. We're going to introduce you to some of the most interesting friends we know, and we might even try to solve a problem or two. You got a question? That'd be cool. Send us a voice recording or an email. pod@biltwellinc.com. pod@biltwellinc.com. Welcome to another episode of the Parts and Labor Podcast. I'm here in studio with Duane Ballard. Duane hails from Lake Elsinore, California. I'm lucky to call him a close friend. And he is the undisputed king of leather. A lot like Run DMC, maybe tougher than leather. Some of the podcast guests we've had in the past, their stories are well known. Pete, some of the Claiborne guys, Tyler Valentek, I think a lot of those guys tell their story pretty well on the internet. Duane's a private guy. He's a mysterious guy. He just kind of shows up and has something cool that he made or built, and you don't really see much of it beforehand. Anyway, so we're here and we're going to pick his brain and see how he got to be as crazy as he is with the Leatherworks. Again, most people know Duane for his leather, or you know him for his custom motorcycles, but there's a lot more to the guy than that. Duane, welcome to the Parts and Labor Podcast.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Let's start with some of the basics, because even though I've been your friend for a long time, there's some of the stuff that I don't even know about you. Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Florida, Miami, Florida, but when I was 5, we moved out to Phoenix. So I spent my whole childhood and high school years and all that out there in Phoenix.
What got you guys out to Phoenix?
My dad liked the desert. He was just sick of Florida, so we moved out there. He had gone out there for a couple of years with his parents for work when he was in high school, so wanted to go back.
What'd your dad do for work?
He was an architect and a land surveyor.
Okay. Kind of makes sense. I think you've told me stories about going out on the job with him in the middle of the desert surveying and marking stuff off. And
yeah, he was the dude.
So that was in the early 70s?
Yeah, we moved in the early 70s to Phoenix.
So Phoenix was probably taking shape as a city, a lot going on at that time.
Yeah, completely different than it is now.
Yeah, completely, but it was still pretty young then.
Yeah.
Definitely a destination. So you're growing up in Phoenix, 70s into the 80s, right?
Yep.
Phoenix, if people are coming across the country, Phoenix has always been a stop. I think that's how it probably became a city, is it's a stop on the way into California or the West Coast.
Yeah.
It was probably a stop for a lot of musical, for bands and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to check out any of those bands?
Constantly. That was in high school. All the punk bands would at least, from California and stuff, would at least make it to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because it was, a big, huge city. Even when it was small, there was a couple million people there.
Yeah. It's 4 or 5 hours from L.A.
Yeah. They would just drive, so we can do a show out of state.
Out of state, you can come for the day and come for the night and then get home. So who are some of these bands you got to see? Who are some of these guys I imagine?
I've seen everyone, because it was every weekend, like the Circle Jerks and the Dead Kennedys and MDC, Void. God, it's just never ending. Just all the punk bands, all the 80s punk bands. That was it every single weekend.
That was probably a pretty cool thing to be a part of and get some of that.
It was neat. You didn't realize how neat it was until later.
I was just going to say, you probably don't realize how neat it was,
Yeah.
Things are different these days. There's still concerts, but especially in California, you can't just go to the bar hall down the street and see, Pennywise or something like that. I used to literally go to little punk shows on Corydon at a billiards place.
Yep.
And you would see Pennywise, and you would see the Whitecaps, and you would see all these bands. And we were just talking before the show started about insurance and all that fun stuff that as an adult starts to be something that you need to figure out, because you don't want to get in trouble for having fun. And I imagine a lot of those venues are shut down because of that. 70s, 80s, what did it take to have a punk show? Probably not much, right?
Yeah, not much. And, the cops didn't like it because punk was looked at way, way, way different then. But it was $5 or $6 to get into a show. And the big place they did it was a place called Mad Gardens. It was an old 50s and 60s wrestling place about the size of a Circle K that had a wrestling ring in the center. surrounded by a cage, and the band would set up on the wrestling ring, and all the kids, all of us, would be outside the cage.
That sounds like couldn't get much better, much cooler
good.
than that. That's out of a movie.
And JFA's from Phoenix. I grew up with those guys, and Meat Puppets. So it was fun getting to hang out with all that stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like something that would shape your musical tastes and all sorts of other things as a young person.
Yeah.
You're when you're young, all that input is what makes you who you are, makes you as weird as you are when you get older. Probably had some cars and bikes in Phoenix in those days too, or no?
Mainly cars back then.
Yeah.
My dad always rode, but because he rode when I was growing up, he just didn't want me having a motorcycle for some reason. So I didn't get street bikes until I was out of the house. But cars, like in high school, I had a '69 Lincoln, suicide door Lincoln that I had. Because, we could pile like 8 guys in it.
Yeah.
Don't pay for the $1 a gallon gasoline.
Yeah, it was more of a function over fashion.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I want a cool Lincoln. It was like,
No,
dudes, we could fit in this thing.
It was an $800 car then.
It was an $800 car that was like a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. But your dad did have some bikes.
Yeah, always.
What kind of bikes?
Early, he was into Triumphs and Hondas in like the 60s. And then he went to Japanese bikes, XS 650s, Yamaha XS 1100s, 1100 specials. He had 2 of those when he passed.
Okay. But you weren't allowed to have a motorcycle.
No, I tried. He
I
just
have
wasn't
the same
having
story. I have the same story. It kind of cements you, right, as to like, oh, I'm getting one. Then.
Oh, yeah. Like, as soon as I can, then I'll just
you can have
build
all the
something
fun,
dumb.
and I can't have all the fun?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what was your first motorcycle?
I just got a little Suzuki 800 to screw around with on the street for a long time. And then started building, Funkenstein probably 5 or 6 years after that.
Okay. Were you, so you're in Phoenix. Funkenstein, though, were you?
I did that back east when we moved to,
New Hampshire.
ended up in New Hampshire where
Yeah.
my wife's family's from.
Let's talk about your wife, Lisa Ballard. If you're in the motorcycle industry and you don't know who Lisa Ballard is, you must have been living under a rock for the last 10 plus years. Lisa's the lady behind the scenes, helping all these shows, Born Free, a bunch of Biltwell events, My Cycle Swaps, and every single show back east. It seems like Lisa's got her hand in. She knows all the players. She connects all the dots. I think that's probably her most valuable skill is she's a dot connector. Anytime you need something, hey Lisa, do you know this person? Yeah, I got him on speed dial. So she knows him. So how did you met Lisa in Phoenix?
I met Lisa in Florida.
Okay,
I've been all over the place.
Yeah, you have been.
So
we need a little map here with some pins.
She was in
kind of
Florida
map it.
after her grandfather passed, helping her grandmother out.
Okay.
And I was just doing nothing in Phoenix but getting in trouble.
Okay.
So I moved to Florida where my grandparents were, and a mutual friend introduced us.
You did a geographic. You got out of Phoenix because Phoenix was the problem, not Duane.
Oh, it was me.
Yeah.
I just went to Florida and got in trouble.
It's always. I was making a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get in trouble in Florida.
I was an idiot, so I just went to Florida to get in trouble, with different people.
Yeah. I get it. Okay, and that's where you met Lisa?
Yep.
How old were you guys? How old were you?
Early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So that straightened me out.
Good.
Because she's not quite as stupid as I.
Yeah, no, Lisa's on it. She's on it.
She gets stuff done.
So she had family in New Hampshire?
Yep.
And that's where you guys...
Yep, we ended up going up there and living there for 9 years when our kids were real young.
When I first started seeing, I think it was probably the Horse magazine, or, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was Jockey Journal. When I started seeing Duane Ballard leather, DB Custom, you guys were in New Hampshire still. And that's right.
Yep.
That's where I remember seeing, man, look at this stuff. It's pretty crazy.
That's where it took off at.
Yeah, this guy's really talented. They're on the East Coast, I grew up on the West Coast, and, we think we hung the sun and the stars and the moon, out here. And then you start to see crazy stuff from the East Coast. You're like,
Yep.
wow, there's actually, it's just as big a deal out there,
It's just not quite as much,
Yeah, and you don't, the sunlight isn't, the spotlight isn't shined on it like it is, on
Yep.
the West Coast. But, again, those early magazines, man, the Horse and some of that other stuff were really instrumental, I think, in showing, look at these guys over here, Paul Cox and Indian Larry and,
Yep.
and the Duane Ballards,
That helped me a lot.
So that's when I started to take note. So you guys are in New Hampshire, 8 or 9 years.
Yep.
You started beating on leather. Where did if you hang out around motorcycle circles, I think it makes sense you would learn to maybe true a wheel or spray a paint job or rebuild a top end. But you don't meet a lot of leather people, doing this in this little niche,
Yep.
motorcycles or hot rods, really. You might meet an upholstery guy, but I think that's like just with leather, dying art. There's not a lot of them left. It's not the guy that there's 10 of them. There's always one maybe in your town if you're lucky. Yep. And you go to that same guy, whether he's good or not. So how did you start, pick up the leather craft?
My mother and grandmother did it. Like, my grandfather owned a gas station in Florida, and my mother's from a huge family, and the kids would make like trucker wallets and stuff to sell in the gas station.
Okay.
And then when I was a little kid in Phoenix, it was just something to do when it was 110 degrees out. Yeah. So my mom showed us when we were kids, me and my brothers. I liked doing it. So I just kind of stuck with it in the background, it's like a hobby thing.
Start like making little wallets.
Yeah, wallets. And then when I got into motorcycles, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and make a seat and stuff. So I started doing that and like you're saying, posted on the Jockey Journal.
Yeah.
And then somebody saw it that was doing one of those biker build-off things. And, hey, would you make me a seat? Sure, So Lisa let me blow a tax, return check on more tools, and that kind of started it.
Okay. So then you were kind of committed. You spent a bunch of money on tools, and
yep.
And you got your chance to help out a bigger name builder, and
then it just spread.
And Duane Ballard custom leather became a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Where did the fist logo come from?
My brother, my youngest brother, Jason.
Whose idea was that?
His.
Yeah.
Because
it's a pretty good one.
Well, he would, in high school, they'd be like, oh, who are you? I'm Jason, my brother's, Duane. And they'd be, oh, the one that likes to fight. So.
That's what you're known as.
That's where the fist is from.
Okay. It's pretty good. It's iconic. It's stuck through the years.
Yeah.
It's stuck through the years. All right. So you guys are in New Hampshire. You're doing leather. You're starting to get a little bit of recognition. California's a long way from New Hampshire. What the heck got you guys out here, and how did you make that move, and why did you make that move?
I was just miserable from the weather. I never grew up where there was, real winter, and it's gnarly there. I guess you got to grow up in it.
Yeah.
And so I started kicking around the idea to Lisa, and then to the kids, and my son had one more year of high school left, and I go, I think we're gonna wait till you get out of high school, and then we're gonna head to the West. Because at that time all the magazines were out here, and it was just a smart move at the time, to try and step it up a little bit. And he goes, let's go now. He didn't care. So, he's
I remember
into music
hearing that
too.
story, which is pretty crazy for Dwayne's son is Wayne. He works at Biltwell. He's worked there a long time now. And I known him for a long time since when you guys moved here.
Since he was
a kid. Since he's a kid. And to hear that a kid that's 16 or 17 or 18 and he's in his last year of high school and his dad's like, we're going to move, but we're going to wait till you graduate. And he said, let's go.
Yeah. He's like, let's do it.
What was his reason?
He's a music freak like me, and he just looked at California like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I knew that. We should have Wayne on here, actually. We should have had him on here during this. But Wayne, in those times, Wayne moved to California. Dude, he had a crazy blog with 10,000. He was getting 10,000.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knew him. Nobody, and I had no idea.
Yeah, and he was kind of like, what's that show with that movie with Christian Slater or whatever? Is it Christian Slater? When he kind of has the podcasting or the pirate radio.
Oh yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, it was like that was Wayne. Nobody knew. All these bands knew Wayne, but he was just a nerd.
Oh yeah,
sitting behind a keyboard.
They would call him to like, can you get me a show here? And
yeah,
and he'd get him a show in 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. It was insane.
And he was kind of this, like his mom. He was connecting dots from a young age in the music and the hardcore scene specifically. Yep. And what was his blog's name?
Toxic Holocaust.
Yeah, didn't it change names though?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. But he used to do like photo fanzine too. Like he'd take crazy pictures and He'd self-publish them, and
So he was okay with moving to California because, as you
Yeah.
said, whether it was true or not, California was perceived to be the music mecca, and it actually was.
Yeah.
It is still to this day. Even we all have computers and we got Starlink, and California's still the spot for music.
a lot of stuff starts here.
It still starts here, and it's got usually 365 days of decent weather to evolve. Even though skateboarding, they have amazing parks now, and surfing has amazing wave pools and weird places like Waco, Texas. It's like still can't beat going to the beach, and having a natural wave, or going to skate some of the cool architecture out here that we have because the weather's good. You get the chance. They got cool architecture everywhere, arguably better on the East Coast, but if it's raining and drizzling, you're not taking advantage of it. So things are evolving out here. So Wayne was right, to want to make the move.
No, I was excited.
Dwayne was right. I imagine it helped Lisa's career. Again, we should have Lisa on here too. It helped her be a better dot connector, I bet.
Yep.
So you came out here, you got a chance to show off some of your craft a little bit easier. You were already building Funkenstein back there?
It was, I finished it back east, and it ended up in the Horse and a few other magazines. It got a lot of attention because nobody was building stuff like that for years. Nobody was building CB750 choppers back then.
Yeah, so if you don't know, Funkenstein was Dwayne's digger. Honda CB750 powered. I think it's punched out to what, 801?
836.
836. Dwayne's dumb enough to let me ride that thing one time, and it hops. If you goose it'll just hop off the ground. It's got big cojones, and it spools up like quick. Like they don't come on at the end. They come on right away.
Yeah.
And that thing was bananas. I remember riding it. I think we were doing a ride with his dad, and there was a little bit of rain. I'm like, I can't ride this thing, dude. It was like a little wet, and I was very, very scared. One, it's a beautiful bike, and it's 10 feet long, but also it just wants to go, And
that was a crazy bike. Super flexy frame. You could wiggle the handlebars, and the motor would be down there swinging.
Yeah, and I was like, is this normal? And
you just have to kind of ignore it.
Yeah, you just kind of ignore it, but that was a cool bike. So you built that bike on the East Coast. You brought it out here. That was definitely a show bike. I remember how long you held on to it and how much you didn't want to get rid of it.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, that was a cool bike.
Thanks.
So you started to get known for these diggers. Diggers, I mean, it's a cool part of, it's a cool niche in time from chopper history, but what were some of the early diggers that you remember seeing,
of course, Ness stuff.
Of course, Ness.
Tommy Summers, Bay Area Custom Cycles.
Again, California stuff, right?
Yeah, a lot of California stuff. Tommy Summers, he did Honda's diggers. He's from the Midwest, so a lot of his stuff. And two of my dad's buddies. My dad always rode stock bikes, but two of his buddies had a KZ1000 and a CB750 chopper when I was a kid, and I loved it.
So that ruined your life, basically,
that was it.
Because I know how much you love a KZ.
I mean, I like them all, but inline fours, that's my thing. I can't help it.
Yeah, they pull and they make that noise, and they are the coolest. It is the best motor.
They don't break ever.
They don't break ever. No, they are. That's the peak.
Yeah.
So those early influences, your dad's buddies having those bikes.
I just
set the stage for you for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And then checking out, 70s and 80s stuff coming out of California and other places.
Yep, reading old magazines, and that was just the stuff that really grabbed me. So.
Yeah. Pro stock hot rod stuff.
Yeah, street cars from the 80s.
Yeah.
Were huge to me.
You get a chance. Did you live by a track ever? Phoenix had a track, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Firebird Raceway when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And then the raceway, was it Thunderbird or something? Where they raced, they had a boat lake and a drag strip. I did that a few times too.
Boats, old jet boats are the diggers of boats, right? Like they're the diggers.
Yeah,
they're
crazy.
No rules, huff and fiberglass.
Ill handling.
As long as they look good on the trailer, who cares what they do in the water? And a lot of times in the water, what would they do?
Oh, yeah. Upside down.
Kill guys.
Completely sideways.
Come apart, But if it looked good on the trailer, who cares? You know what I mean? And a lot of diggers, even though I know from experience and you've showed me, a lot of those diggers actually handle really, really nicely.
Yeah, if you're careful and do it right, you can make a crazy looking thing that you can ride.
Yeah.
Like all of mine, I've been able to ride.
Yeah, I've ridden a couple of yours, and they have been well handling machines, but I bet there's a bunch that are super sketchy.
Yeah.
Not. And again, jet boats follow in that line. They're just not a good idea as a whole, but that's what makes them cool, and that's what makes them stick in your brain, right? You know?
For sure. It's it's like, man, that thing's dangerous, and they're still doing it.
Man, I grew up right down the street from where you live, and in the 80s, Saturday morning, the boats that would come into Lake Elsinore, me and my dad were out working on Saturday morning, and the boats that we'd be at the gas station putting gas in our bus to go work, our Volkswagen bus, and the boats that were lined up, dude, to fill up and go get on the lake in the morning were bananas, and it was awesome,
That's
and it was
neat.
as cool as any hot rod I'd ever seen.
Oh, for sure.
And looking back now, it was a Chevy dually with the camper shell, and then some crazy jet boat, and
Yep.
maybe a chick run inside and get a 12-pack and some snacks for the day, and the dude's out there pumping gas and in a boat that he built or helped build, and yeah, that was cool stuff. That was envelope pushing stuff, and as an old guy, I don't want to say that it's not like that nowadays, but it's not like that nowadays.
No. Every once in a while, you'll hear somebody out there because there's no speed limit in the center of the lake.
Yeah.
So the offshore guys will go do it so they're not running in salt water for tuning and stuff.
Yeah.
And on Saturdays or something, you'll hear some monster ocean boat out there just getting it.
Yeah, with two motors.
Yeah.
2 big blocks.
Some ridiculous thing comes in sideways on a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still going on a little bit. But,
Yeah, not like it was.
But not like it was. That guy that's bringing that boat out, he's a tech dude that made a bunch of money. He didn't tune that boat. He didn't build it,
No, they're just
he can
testing.
barely get it off the trailer. Probably. Most likely he's not even there. He's paying someone to test it for him so that he can take it to Havasu for the weekend, But yeah, definitely not as cool as the guy in the dually that's got 2 quadriflugs hooked up and he's trying to make them work, long enough to make a pass at the lake. So you guys moved to Elsinore. Lisa's getting more involved in the motorcycle stuff. You're getting more involved in the motorcycle stuff. Who were some of the early guys that helped you expand, that gave you your break?
Right before I moved here, I did like a prototype seat, well, they had already designed the seat, Biltwell, and they had me cover it.
Okay.
So like a display thing. And so I started hanging out with those guys. When I first showed up here, Courtney Hallowell, that was the editor of Street Chopper at the time.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yep.
Good dude.
Good buddy. And he immediately grabbed me. We went riding around, and he did a story in Street Chopper, that I had moved to California, and here's what I do. And so he helped me out like crazy. I mean, a lot of guys really welcomed me as soon as I got here.
That's cool. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think people perceive California guys as jerks, But I've been around. We actually have a real tight-knit community in the motorcycle space and car stuff, and we actually get along pretty good. I've been to other areas of the country where it's very fractured.
Yeah, it's itchy.
It is, man.
It's
weird. And again, I think it's perceived like that over here, and it's not like that at all, really. In my experience, everyone's been really welcoming. A lot of the same guys that welcomed you welcome me, without much, without a problem. So I'm not surprised to hear that, the Biltwell guys were had an eye for your talent, and Courtney, you introduced me to Courtney. He was a good dude. It seems like he put a lot of guys on the map. That was one of his.
Yeah, he was just a really friendly dude. And if he thought your stuff was neat or whatever, he'd make sure people knew about it, trying to help you out.
Yeah. Who else?
Oh, you're sticking me on the spot. I like
that's my job.
Tori from Chopper Fest, David Man Chopper Fest.
Yep.
Like as soon as we got here, it was like, you need to set up here, and he hooked us up, and then Lisa started doing work for them.
Tori comes about it naturally. His dad had a shop up there in Ventura,
Yep.
forever, called The Shop, right?
Yeah.
And shout out to Tori, Chopper Fest, man. I think he was another guy definitely that had his eye on up and comers, and that's what always made that show really cool.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a lot of the old guys and the new guys all mixed together.
Yeah. So Tori, did you come out here to be a sinner? Be honest.
No.
Because you could have just made the center belt and nobody would have known.
Yeah, they'd be upset.
They'd be upset.
They
used to get a little touchy about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
No
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah, no comment. You can comment. Come on, we're on a podcast.
No, I mean, I'm friends with a bunch of those dudes. I in the beginning, I would have thought it was really, really neat.
Yeah.
But it's not as important as I thought it could have been. You know what I mean?
I agree. But,
but I love those guys. They're great.
I think I'm a little bit like you in that I saw those guys on the interweb, and then you get a little fanboy or scared, and you meet a lot of those guys, and you really like them. They're really nice, you know.
Yeah.
Cuddy, Rico.
Like Rico is at my house for every holiday, Christmas, and I love those dudes. Yep. Danny Takahashi, he's
nobody
Chopper
nicer
Dave.
than Danny.
Yeah. I just did a seat for him.
Chopper Dave or Danny?
Danny.
Yeah, nobody nicer
he
than
just
Danny.
super nice dude. Yeah. He's over there geeking out at my silly model 3D printer and stuff. So he just ended up buying one for his kid. Yeah. Just normal dudes.
Yeah, normal dudes. Yeah, I was in Italy riding around at some show, and Danny was there, and I'm like, man, it's Danny Takahashi. I don't really want to say hi. I'm scared, And nicest guy ever.
Oh yeah,
nicest guy ever.
Super cool.
So a lot of those guys, like you said, Chopper Dave.
Yeah, they've always been nice to me. Went to a few of the sinners parties. July 4th when I first moved here.
Yeah,
and I always was really welcome.
Very cool. So what bike came after Funkenstein? You got out to California, and I know you didn't. You're still doing your leather.
Still doing my leather.
But you started to put together some cool bikes. What was one of the first ones?
The Pink Taco.
The Pink Taco, very iconic.
Which I just thought of a dumb name years ago, and it made me and my friends laugh, so I had to build a bike to go with the stupid name.
It was so good, the Pink Taco.
Dude, it was ridiculous.
It was perfect.
People would freak out on the freeway seeing that go down the road. It was fun.
That guy still have that bike that you
traded? A guy back east has it in New York that actually rides it every once in a while.
Okay.
He'll reach out and like, hey, it's still doing great. Like, cool,
It's cool. I would like to see that thing again. To me, that was one of those show bikes that it gets ridden, but it's one of those ones where you can just kind of look at it all day, and be like, man, this is really cool. This is really cool. No, have you seen this? This is really cool. Because I would go to Duane's house and work out in his garage with Duane, and I would look at it over and over and over, and I'm always like, man, it's even cooler. I never really get tired of looking at it. It was one. And Funkenstein was like that too. It was always just.
I had no clue what I was doing when I built Funkenstein. That was just guessing.
Yeah.
I never know completely what I'm doing. I just have friends that I can call and say, what the hell should I do? When I get stuck.
Who are some of those friends that help you out when you
Cole
get stuck?
Foster.
Cole, I've heard of him.
Yep. And Rico, of course.
Rico.
My buddy Alex. Alex, my buddy in Elsinore.
Alex and
Renato.
Man, they're talented and humble, and there's not really much they can't do.
No.
There's actually nothing they can't do.
I've watched Alex build a Springer on his floor with woodworking tools, and it worked perfectly. It was ridiculous. We were making fun of him the whole time, and it worked perfect.
Yeah, Alex and Renato are cool brothers.
You just get it done.
Yeah, get it done. Yeah, who else do you call to help you out?
Magoo from Biltwell used to come over all the time when I was building a bike. He was fun. It's fun to have somebody kick ideas around with, Like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Like, after the Pink Taco, I did the Kawasaki, that KZ1000 police bike digger.
I remember.
And I had made the tank, a cardboard pattern for the tank. And I don't know, just something wasn't getting it for me or him. So we went inside Nate and came out, and I spun it around as a joke, the tank backwards. And we're both like, that's it, run the tank backwards. So that's how that ended up being that. And he was around for a lot of that one.
That's cool. That's what makes these bikes special, is it? There's no rules.
No.
You want to run the tank backwards? It's your bike.
Yeah.
And you're putting it together. You can do whatever you want.
Nobody ever told me it was backwards.
Yeah, it's not team sport.
Yeah. And then after that, I did the Xanadu, that CB750 jammer velvet ride frame bike, with another CB750 836 in it. Seems like every 5 years I'll do one, like the Kawasaki was born 3.5 as an invited builder.
I can't believe that was that long ago.
Xanadu was born 3.10. And then Born Free 15, I did that latest one, the Con with that 180 horsepower FJ motor in it.
Yeah, we shot that one for the fool's gold, and that thing it's a bad mofo.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a handful.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only go so far with some style of bike, I think. And I'm sure somebody else could do something cooler, but I don't think I could. That's just kind of like I wanted a pro street bike or a pro street car mixed with like a crazy 80s digger.
Yeah. Well,
And that's as far as I think I could push it.
I think too that you can push it farther, but then at some point it's not a digger.
It starts
Or-
getting silly.
At some point you should build a helicopter or something. You know, some of those got bikes and guys, a lot of them in Europe,
Yeah.
where they just keep going. It's like I have always said because long winters, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
On the East Coast too, they're a little guilty, but at some point a winter ends in on the East Coast. I think in Europe some of those winters never end, so they just keep going, dude, and like cable actuated throttle, and then like
I like
dude,
it simple.
Stop, and especially
Simple works. It doesn't break.
yeah,
It's
well,
clean.
for you, those bikes, like you said, are odes to pro street, pro stock, jet boats
Yep.
and diggers that you saw coming out. At some point, it's not going to be that anymore, even if you could,
Yeah.
And yeah,
If I think I'd do something else, I'd like to find an old swing arm digger Honda frame, to
it looks like you might have found some this week, huh?
yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine just scored the ultimate digger stash from some dude that has
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff in it you never, ever, ever see.
He had some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully, you get some of that stuff falls off the truck and you're.
well, he's got a roller that's got the tank on it already, the fender, it's like a drop seat swing arm digger with a CB750 motor mounts in it. And I'd like to see if I could maybe end up with that.
Yeah, but it's not really your style to. Here's what's gonna happen if you end up with that. I can already tell if you don't know.
I know.
You're gonna
my
buy
problem.
You're gonna put it together, kind of, and then you're gonna say, "To heck with this," and you're gonna start from scratch. And you're gonna be at Johnny Branch's late at night making a frame.
Well, I think I could do it, but I mean, Funkenstein was an old frame.
Yeah,
It was an old AEE frame.
yeah.
It's just
I don't think you'll.
I'll
nowadays.
change everything
Yeah, you'll
because
change
I'm the
everything.
kind of person that if one thing comes out really nice, every single thing has to be that nice to match it, or it drives me crazy. Like my leatherwork, even like I'll spend 40 hours on something. If something bothers me, I'll cut it up so I have to make it again real quick and throw it out.
One of my first memories hanging out at Duane's house, he was making a seat for somebody. He wasn't in love with it. The seat was impeccable. I would have kept this seat for hundreds of years, and I seen Duane take a razor blade and slice it into pieces and then throw it in the trash. And I'm like, man, let me have it. Don't do that. What are you doing that for? And I think it was like a seat for like Lucky Tim. So like, it wasn't a high dollar seat. It wasn't
Doesn't
super
matter.
fancy. Tim would have been stoked. Shout out to Lucky Tim. I miss you, Tim. It's been a minute. But yeah, Duane took it, cut it into pieces, and threw it away. And again, it was probably like $100 seat, or it was an inexpensive seat by Duane's usual standards, And it's the kid would have been stoked, and Duane just chopped it up and threw it away. And I was like, oh, this is what we're dealing with over here.
I want to be excited about everything, or
he's
it's
a
not
madman.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I think you buying a frame from somebody, a roller, you're gonna put it in your garage, and at some point something's gonna be wrong, and you're just gonna end up doing it.
Oh yeah, I already know I'd want to derake it.
Yeah,
And
so change everything.
It would be different, but
change everything. Well,
I still I've always wanted one of those like period looking, like a real one, not something I made that's kind of like an ode to it or whatever.
that's hard to do, though, right?
Yeah,
That's hard to do.
it's hard. It's harder,
It's
to
harder.
build one from scratch. But I just want, the old real deal one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've been around this stuff my whole life too, and something about the ones that came out in the day, they got a little something to them that
Yeah.
makes them different.
Like some guys you looked up to had their hands on it.
Yeah,
I get a kick out of it.
And a lot of times the fact that they aren't perfect. Dude, they were working with an acetylene torch.
Oh yeah, they're cavemen.
Bondo, when Bondo was Bondo, and yeah, they were cavemen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they didn't have tools made for building motorcycles or sheet metal or whatever or painting. You know what I mean? They were
Yep.
using stuff that they used to paint a house.
Yeah.
Literally the same spray gun that their dad painted their house with, and they were trying to make something cool. So arguably those guys were insanely talented because they were.
Well, plus they didn't have all these other. No one had ever done it before. They were just pulling it out of their butt, just coming out top of their head stuff. And
nowadays you get on YouTube and
everything's been done. You just kind of mix it up.
Yeah. So those guys, that's what makes those things special. When you find one in a barn and it is a little crooked or, it's a little, probably doesn't ride that good, but it looked good in the show, and it's a little different where, the new kids they got angle finders and all kinds of little trick things to help them make exhaust. And again, they had to learn how to do it. So they're super talented as well. But
yeah, it's a lot of talent.
It's different, it's different.
Exactly.
So does that mean if your friend found some cool bikes, you got another bike going together?
No.
We're on Born Free 17 next year?
17 next year. I do it every 5 years. Yeah, so if I get something, it's just because I happen to find it now. I'll just stick it in the garage.
Yeah.
And then, because I'm not a bike builder. Everyone just kicks my ass.
You're a bike builder.
But I have to do everything 3, 4, 5 times to get it to where I'm happy with it. Like someone like Cole just magically makes the coolest thing ever, So it takes me a while to recover.
You had bikes in the Moon Eye show in Japan. I think if Shige says you're a bike builder, you're a bike builder.
Right,
not to discount Born Free, but Born Free guys are like, listen, his old lady works here. He lives down the street. He'll finish the bike. You're in. Moon Eyes. Yeah, they got you bringing a couple bikes out there. So
that was fun. When you went with me, I was the first guy to bring domestic to them bikes ever to Moon Eyes, and we brought
to bring a Japanese bike to a Japanese show.
It was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah,
I appreciate you taking me and
No,
letting me ride one of your bikes into the show. Pretty crazy.
That was good stuff.
And Japan is very intimidating. You know,
yeah.
It was scary over there. You know, it was a little bit before the iPhone was really as dialed as they are these days, where with translator, and we got on the bullet train, and
we had no idea.
We're gonna end up in the wrong place really fast. You know, so that was a scary time, but it was cool. I haven't been back since, but I would like to. That show too is just,
yeah, it was huge. I was so excited to go, and then lucky enough was able to go again with the Cosmosaki.
Yeah, you've been twice. That's a big deal. So that's not an accident. You're a bike builder, Duane.
Oh, thanks.
Accept it.
Well, accept it. Hang around with another one, you'll see him. I just good at faking my way through it.
Shoot. So yeah, Duane turns out beautiful motorcycles, beautiful pieces of leather. But your whole family's like that, man. Wayne also attention to detail. Like if I want to find a flaw in something, a flyer, an email, anything, a schedule, I send it to Wayne. Like he's gonna find it like that.
He's the proofreader.
Yeah, he's the proofreader, and he's never like. If I ever find a flaw with someone, like Flynn made a video, and the other day actually I sent him something. I'm like, you spelled this wrong, you know, and I was nice about it, I think. But Wayne's always nice. It's just matter of fact. It's just like he's AI before AI. Like he's not a jerk about it. But I would probably try to rub it in once in a while. Not Wayne. He's just like, oh, this is wrong, you know, and then
he doesn't get mad. He's his own dude.
He's his own dude, you know. Lisa, who we mentioned several times, also a ruler that rules, you know, just working in the background quietly, humbly, putting all these pieces together. I will say Lisa, the last couple of years has gotten real confident though with her stuff, and I love to see it. It's like, Lisa, dude, these shows couldn't come together without you. So it's awesome that I think she's a little more confident. She's like,
she knows what she's doing, and she loves to help anybody.
Yeah,
that's her favorite thing is helping somebody get along, get farther along.
And now Ashley, who's the only Ballard that I'm not super familiar with, she's on the East Coast. She's doing really cool jewelry.
Yeah, she's been doing that the last few years and trying to push it a little more.
Yeah, and that's something. Her jewelry is super intricate, and it seems like something you don't just take a stab at and you get good at real easy. Like I think that's something that it's a craft.
Yeah, it's meticulous.
Dude, meticulous.
That's my favorite thing. Is
Yeah, I'd say that she gets that from her dad.
Meticulous. Yeah.
So, how is it that do you guys got a special water filter that makes you all like that, or what happened?
I have no idea. My mom can draw and paint. My brother owns a tattoo shop in Phoenix.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, my dad was an architect, but you've been to my house. I've also got posters and stuff my dad drew back in the 60s and 70s all over the place.
Yeah. So super
Just
nerd
yeah,
stuff.
just nerd out on little tiny meticulous things.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool. You passed it on to your kids, and Lisa's got it too. We're at Biltwell. We're real lucky because we work with most of your family on a day-to-day basis, and it's just we know what to expect, and it makes it real easy to plan stuff and to work and blend. Not only like is Wayne, we should have Wayne again around here. Not only is Wayne like super perfect on a lot of things. Man, he's pretty funny, and he does it. He's got this dry humor that's like sweep you off your feet.
Sarcastic ninja.
Yeah, dude, and he'll get you sometimes. And when he does, it's like, oh, so good, so good. Yeah, we enjoy. He's we're the island of the misfit toys over there at Biltwell, and when we plugged Wayne in, it was like, oh, it was a missing piece that we didn't even know was missing.
That's cool. He loves it.
Yeah. Well, we have to be nice to him because he's going to be me and Flynn's boss within a year or two. So we always try to be real friendly to Wayne because we don't want him to fire us here soon.
Good.
So, yeah, we could do another podcast on him. Hey, who would win in a fight, the Munsters or the Addams family?
The Munsters.
That's not, undisputed.
Yeah.
Are you related to any of the Munsters?
No.
Whenever I see Herman, I always think about you.
Yeah, Herman.
Yeah. I always think about you, yeah. I think it's more because when Herman throws a fit, I've seen you throw those same fits.
Oh, yeah. I lose my mind every once in a while.
But when you do, I'm like, that's Herman Munster to a T. That's Herman Munster to a T.
I can only hold it in for so long.
I've been at your house and have the Munsters playing on repeat many years. And my dad, when we were kids, is like, dude, listen, you got to – there's three things that are non-negotiable. We're watching the Munsters, we're watching the Riflemen, and we're watching the Three Stooges. And like, if you don't like it, then you're not my kid and you can't live here. You know what I mean? And we just watched those things on repeat. And it was, so when I got to your house, I'm like, I'm home. Because a lot of those shows are on repeat at Duane's house or Car 54. Where are you?
Yeah. I love all that old stuff.
Yeah.
Like Lisa went to bed last night and I'm out there watching Kojak.
Yeah. Kojak. That's Telly Savalas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I think that's why I liked your whole family instantly. Cause, I felt at home. You guys had the same weirdness going on. What's the best thing that Lisa cooks? Because Lisa's a really good cook. What's your favorite thing?
Probably baked pasta or split pea soup. I'm a split pea soup freak.
Okay, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, everybody else is like, we went to that split pea soup place. We were going to a show in Sacramento, when the split pea soup place up there.
Happy and Pee Wee.
And I was losing my mind the whole way. There's split pea soup coming, and it wasn't Lisa's. I'm like, I was so pissed that it wasn't good, Yeah,
it's like a roadside.
Yeah.
Freaking attraction, carnival place almost. Buellton, right?
Yeah, middle of nowhere.
There's a couple of them now, I think, or there has been.
And that one's closed now.
Yeah, they're not.
For good reason.
For good reason. Yeah. No, that's no Lisa Ballard.
She just kills it. Like, everybody comes to our house for, Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff, and she just loves cooking for everybody.
Yeah, she kills it.
All the misfit, no family guys come to our house.
Yeah, I've been there before. It's a good way to spend the holiday. Also, when Lisa goes out of town, all the stuff she puts together. Packages.
She's had to leave a lot this year because my daughter had back surgery, and everyone's like, "What are you going to do?" And I'm like, "She left like 3 months of food in the freezer already cooked, so I'm going to eat."
Yeah, one of the hardest things for me was when I was laid up at your house when I broke my face, and I couldn't really eat anything except shakes, and I'd smell Lisa cooking stuff, and I'm stuck upstairs with getting a McDonald's shake, because that's about all I could get down, and she's a good cook. So leather's your full-time job. You've been doing it for a long time.
Yep.
What are you working on right now, leather project? Because I know you always have some crazy ones. You turn out some real little stuff all the time that we don't know about, but you got a big one going on?
Yeah. Besides the ton of seats and wallets and all that stuff I got going, I got a guy right now he bought a brand new semi truck, Kenworth, off the lot, had it cut in half and turned into a 4-door, had a box, the frame extended and had a box put on the back. And he's having all this crazy South American hardwood interior put in it, but all the detail pieces like the door faces and the ceiling and mirror frames and parts of the couch and are all Western hand tooled and laced pieces. So he'll have the wood guys make like a template of like the inserts for the doors, and he'll run them out to me, and I go, what do you want, Chuck? And he's just like, go nuts. Just do your thing. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to see drawings before.
Where's he putting together? Where's this truck located? Like
Orange County.
Okay.
It's going together.
Okay. So do you ever go out there once in a while and take a look at it?
I haven't even seen it yet.
You just sending the pieces.
He just comes, grabs the pieces all excited, and then drops off something else.
Do you know what his goal is? Is it going to go to all the truck shows, or
I'm not sure.
Or he just wants to do
I
it?
think he's just going to run it and have fun with it. I just think he just wants the coolest camper on earth.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He's an old dude that's worked his whole life, and he's not real extravagant, and he's going nuts, right now just for fun.
That's cool. Back to jet boats. Those trucks, those custom trucks that they built back in the day, and they still build as you're working on. There's no rhyme or reason. Guys go nuts.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's like a custom motorcycle. You're not going to get any of that money back.
No, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, and he doesn't care. But you can make it your truck. And it's very cool. And
he's gonna have the baddest RV ever. When he's done.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've been to a lot of custom truck shows. My dad was a trucker, and man, what a cool canvas for that guy to let you go wild on, because it's so big.
Oh, it's
so many things
huge.
you can
Yeah.
do,
And he just keeps inventing more stuff. Like every time he gets something from me, he just decides he wants more of it in the truck. So we just keep coming up with more ideas.
Yeah. How did you hook up with that guy?
A buddy of mine owns Giant RV, and he hangs out at this upholstery place that does a lot of the cars for the Grand National Roadster Show. And he's always talking about my stuff, with this guy. And then Chuck was in there one day, the guy that owns the truck, and he was like, hey, I want to do some hand-tooled stuff. And they were both, well, this is the guy. And so he called me and told me, hey, I've got this trailer I'm working on, is what he told me. So I said, all right, come out. And I just thought it was going to be some dude that comes out and tells me about his beat-up trailer and, whatever.
And then once you give him a price, he's going to run away, right?
Yeah. Well, he shows up with renderings, and he's got a designer, and I just want you to go nuts. And I'm like, are you sure? He goes, no, he brought me a belt that he had bought from a really, really, really high-end leather worker in Wyoming, as like an example of the stuff he kind of liked. Lots of filigree where you cut the background out with other leather backing it. And he's like, can you do that? I said, yeah, I can do it, And he goes, well, everyone told me you're the dude. What do I get you to be the dude? I said, just promise I get to do the job. He goes, do I need to give you money now? I go, no, just I'm the dude, let me be it. And it's turned out to be great. He's super funny, friendly guy, and he just lets me do my thing and pays me after each piece and brings me another one.
How cool is it that you've met a few of those guys, that appreciate your artistic abilities, like they let you do you, what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're going to get a tattoo and a guy does tribal and you're like, man, I want Americana. It's like,
yeah,
dude, you're going to get the worst Americana ever. Like, if he does tribal, you should get a tribal
exactly.
tattoo. I know that's a terrible example. I'm sorry, but
no, it's exactly.
Tribals, but
he knows what I can do, and he trusts me.
Yeah. Don't try to
like
make
a lot
Duane
of the
Ballard.
Builders I worked with for like Yaffe and those guys. Now they'll just send me pictures of the bike and just do your thing, which is, it means a lot to me. They trust me. Especially on bikes like, they're building. And then he's just the same way, just do your thing. It's like, but like you're saying about different styles, I'll have people call me and they'll send me pictures of another guy's leather work that they like, but they want me to do it. And I'm like, you want that guy to do your leather work, Yeah. No, but I want you to do it. And I don't know why, but I'm like, I'm not going to jam his style, steal it. I mean,
that's like,
I'm sure he wants the work too, like I do. Just let him have it.
I enjoy being up at Pete's, and the guy will bring a bike up there or something that they want Pete to paint like someone else's style.
Yeah.
And I know full well Pete ain't gonna do that, dude. He's gonna paint it however the heck he wants. So I want to be back there when they come to pick that up and be like, "This is not what I asked for." It's like, yeah, well, you asked the wrong guy to do something that's not his deal.
Yeah, let the guy that does it do it. Like I had a guy, super good customer. I've got 3 seats for him at the house right now, and he's like, "Hey, I like this Paul Cox seat. You know how Paul will do like the stitching down the nose where it's lumped up a little bit. Super neat looking. He's done it forever." He goes, "Will you do that?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
Call Paul Cox. That's him. I'm not going to steal his stuff. We're buddies, Yeah,
well, some people, they think because they got the money or whatever that they can dictate that. And it's
money's not the most important thing.
It's not how it works. Who's building cool bikes, cool cars, cool leather these days, that you haven't mentioned already that impresses you? Some of the, again, I get down on the whippersnappers out there, but there's actually some whippersnappers doing cool stuff. Who do you look up to?
I live in a shell. I don't really pay attention to much
That's
of
a
what's.
lie. I know you pay attention. I know you see some people. Who's?
I'm trying to think. You got me on the spot. I can't think of names.
It's hard to put Duane Ballard on the spot, but I got him.
Yeah, you totally got me.
All right. We'll skip that question if you
All
think
right.
about something. Something we haven't touched on. You've been building models forever.
Yeah.
Right? And that's another thing. Early in my relationship with you, I saw you building this little car model, and you got the wires out of the telephone line.
Yeah.
And you like piped a seat. The piping on the seat was one of those wires. And I'm like, this guy's bananas, dude. What is wrong with him?
It's relaxing.
It's relaxing, he said. And I was like, what the heck? And you showed me like the wire. Now that I'm 47, I can't even see that wire now. But I remember you piped a seat with it in some little model. I'm like, dude, he lost it.
And now they have 3D printers, so I can make even more dumb stuff.
Yeah, so Duane's been a big proponent of 3D printer since it came out. He's a lot of his stamps and a lot of his tools he's made.
Yeah, with either 3D printing or lasers.
Or he's made stuff for us, for a lot of other people. He, tags, all kinds of stuff.
Yep, I've made lots of stamps for other leather workers, just all kinds of things.
So it's pretty cool for you to evolve your craft. You think, okay, leather, dude, they've been doing that since cavemen.
Yep.
Really, and it probably got really good during the Wild West. Western was at the forefront of all that. A lot of the stuff you do was perfected by cowboys, I imagine. Making cool stuff. But somehow you've managed to even take it to up a notch by making your own tools and making stuff to help you, be even crazier. How did all that come about?
Just like my dad, when he was a draftsman, when he first started, everything was by hand, and then slowly computers moved in. I kind of look at it like that. It's just another tool, that I could add to my stuff to improve on it,
But a lot of guys fight that,
Well, they think you have to do the traditional way or everything has to be done a certain way.
Yeah.
And to me, I look at leatherwork kind of like an art thing, and there's no rules in art. As long as it comes out nice, there is no right way to do it. Just there's your way to do it. Yeah. And if it works, it works.
Yeah. I mean, tattoos was beating on dudes with a rusty nail and a piece of wood, and then they made a machine, and then now those machines are crazy.
Yeah, now they've got rotary ones.
Rotary that saves the guy's hands, and they're
doesn't beat your skin up as bad.
Yeah, dude, and so things have improved, but there's always guys that fight that, the cavemen that don't want anything to change ever, and you've been one of the guys that have innovated, back to Pete, Pete hasn't been an old cranky guy. He hasn't become an old cranky guy, and he likes a lot of these young kids, and he's helping them out. You know, and he's a guy that's kind of stayed current. He's doing the same paint as he has always done. But kind of not the same. Like he's innovated too. You know? And he's teaching the craft to the younger guys, and I think you do a little bit of that with just making these tools that allow your leather to be more intricate, more special.
Thanks.
Always next level. If any kids are running up your backside, I don't think they are. Like, they got a lot of ground to cover before they even get close, because of you saying, I'm going to keep getting better. I'm going to keep getting better. Not like, I've got the status, I've arrived, I always do it this way, like,
Yeah, you gotta, like, I've been doing this forever. I'm 59 years old. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and I'm still figuring stuff out all the time. Like, I've got somebody that came by last weekend that wants to take a class with me, and she's like, I want to learn it, what and stuff. I said, well, I don't know I can teach you some stuff, which, I do classes all the time, but I can't show you everything because I still don't know what I'm doing all the time.
right.
I just kind of wing it as I go along. I draw a basic outline and then just go for it.
Yeah, you say that you might not know everything, but you know a lot, and then you have a lot of experience practicing what you know. So
yeah, I can
that
gets
you to this level.
I can show somebody shortcuts. Like, hey, you don't have to screw up 50 times to figure it out, but over time, hopefully, it helps them develop their own way of doing stuff and their own style.
Right. So you do classes with people?
Yeah, I'll do private classes.
Okay. How would people, if they wanted to book something like that, how would they get?
Just email me or call me,
okay,
and we can go over what you want to learn. Learn what you want to do.
Okay.
And I'll figure out.
Are you on Instagram?
Yeah. Yep. Just Duane Ballard on Instagram.
Duane Ballard. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of younger people, they're not afraid to ask questions now. I think when maybe we were growing up, when I was growing up, it's like, man, don't talk to that guy. He's a jerk.
And I'll share anything.
And then there's guys like Pete. There's guys like you that will take the time to show people. I've been at shows where guys show up and they're like, "That's Duane Ballard." I'm like, "Go talk to him, man. He looks like Herman Munster, but I guarantee you, he's the nicest guy here."
Yeah.
And he's for sure the nerdiest guy here. So go talk to him, man. You got nothing to lose.
That just reminded Courtney's article in the Street Chopper years ago when the beginning was Duane Ballard's a lot nicer than he looks.
Yeah. 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 And that's I think that's always been, your family has always extended their hand to me and always been super nice. It started off with Lisa throwing magazines out the door, when I wrote some article or took some pictures,
Yeah.
So she kind of started a little cold, but it's after that, man, it was like your family, and I think you've done that to an extent with showing people, how to carry on with the leather work. If you've ever been by Duane's table at any of these shows, you'd be hard pressed to not pick up a piece of his and just be blown away because there's so much going on. And say it's a liner in the wallet, which is arguably the plainest part of the wallet. Duane made that liner. Everything, every little detail he's thought about and he's worked hard to make it perfect. And because of that, I've been in settings that aren't motorcycle, aren't hot rod, and I've seen some of Duane's work, and I'm like, I asked the guy, "Is that a Duane Ballard wallet?" This happened to me recently. He's like, "Yeah, you know who that is?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's my buddy." And so it's just, from the detail and the quality of the stuff that it's going to last forever. And I think Duane's stuff, you hit right. It's lifetime warranty.
Yeah. Like, I had a guy recently, he goes, "Is there a warranty?" And I just said, "Good luck breaking it. If you do, let me know."
Yeah, you'll be the
like,
first.
I've broken a guy's head open with one of my wallets once on accident.
Yeah.
You remember Foundry Moto?
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah, I remember Matt.
Yeah, he was supposed to meet me at a show and pick up his wallet that I had made for him, one of the long ones. And I didn't see him, so I'm coming down the 10, and he pulls up next to me. And we're, 70 miles an hour down the freeway, and he puts his arms up like, "Hey, do you have my wallet?" And I held it up like, "I got it." And he rolls his window, "Throw it." And I'm like, "No." He goes, "Throw it." So I threw it as hard as I could to make sure it went through. And then he called me last night. He goes, "I had to drive straight to the emergency room." He goes, "You blew my forehead wide open."
You threw it into his car?
Yeah, hard as I could because I didn't want it to end up on the freeway,
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, Duane's stuff is built to last. And again, once you kind of recognize, his style and that quality, you'll see his pieces everywhere. And it could be, not everyone would be able to afford a Duane Ballard leather wallet, but I've got some keychains from you through the years, some little card holders. That doesn't have to be. You don't have to spend a crazy amount of money to get one of his pieces, and they're all super special. I feel like I've been trying to get a belt off him for about 15 years. That being said, I've given him multiple belts of mine because he needs a belt to size it. He's told me, and really what happened is I just lost my belt 2 or 3 times, so I've quit giving him belts. But one day I'm going to get a belt from it probably won't even be from Duane. It'll probably be like a hand-me-down from somebody else, or maybe I can get Wayne to steal one or something like that. But yeah, his stuff's built to last. It's built forever, and it's built by some of the last, real craftsmen doing this kind of stuff. Leather work is, we go to a lot of motorcycle stuff, car stuff. Sometimes there's a leather guy there,
Yeah.
It's never the same stratosphere as Duane stuff.
Oh, thanks.
It's like
My OCD pays off
it
sometimes.
it looks like when you're like you go to summer camp and they give you DIY leather kit, summer camp to keep you busy for a day, and you get to make a wallet to send home to your parents.
People like that
that's
style.
what a lot of that stuff looks like to me now that I've experienced some of your stuff. And I don't carry a wallet just because I got too much crap, and I'm just not a back pocket wallet guy. But I love all your stuff, and I always love, just so you know, it's not Wayne that posted in the Biltwell story. It's me, because I'm always like, I've seen it all a million times. I'm like, this one's even cooler. I'm gonna post this. This one's cooler. It's always intricate. And I know that when I show up at your house, the couple times a year I get to go over there, that you'll be over there beating on leather and blasting some punk rock and throwing stuff in the trash that's not perfect, and that's, again, we're
Well, if you throw all the stuff you mess up away, everyone thinks everything's perfect.
Yeah.
It's not. It just goes in the trash.
It just goes in the trash. Well, yeah, I think it's cool, and it's, I'm lucky to have a couple seats on my bike from you, and any bike that's been built in the Biltwell shop, I'd say in the last 15 or 20 years, without a doubt, all had Duane seats. And I know he doesn't love to do super plain stuff, but he'll do it. And if you let him go hog wild, he will definitely blow your mind. I think that's all I got for you.
No, I appreciate you having me on.
We appreciate you coming on. We should have asked you earlier on in our little podcasting career, but Flynn and I have been honing our craft, much like you, and we really didn't want to blow our wad and have things be funny the first couple episodes, so we wanted to get this straight, and we're happy to have you. And probably one of the last podcasts we'll shoot in this studio. Flynn's building a new one in his office. It's going to be better and cleaner, and we'll be doing some of these over there, and we'll be doing some of these remote. But we've got a few podcasts in the queue, and I'm thinking we're going to bump this one up in line and kind of get it out there sooner than later, because it's a good one.
I appreciate it.
So
thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming out, old Duane Ballard. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything you've done for us in the last almost 20 years.
No, same. It goes both ways. You guys have done a lot for me.
All right. Well, that's it. Guys, we're now on Apple iTunes. You can check us on Spotify. You can check us on YouTube. If you'd like to watch us, I wouldn't recommend watching me, but maybe you like to see Duane Ballard on there. So follow us wherever you like to get your podcasts. We're grateful for you guys always checking us out, and we look forward to delivering some more of these soon. That's it. Parts and Labor Podcast. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Parts and Labor Podcast, brought to you by Biltwell. You got any feedback? You got any questions? Send us a voice recording or an email at pod@biltwellinc.com. That's pod@biltwellinc.com.